is far away because I am on vacation at Rainy Lake in International Falls in northern Minnesota. I'll be staying here for a week, and I thought I would make some videos about, what I'm seeing and some art that I'll be making while I'm up here. I actually brought this with me. I got this at the library before I came up here. It is called Keeping a Nature Journal, and it's by Claire Leslie. So I'm going to be looking at this, and I thought it would be perfect for this trip because I've always wanted to get into documenting the nature that I see around me. So she has a lot of advice for if you do want to keep a nature journal, or just on if you just want to draw nature while you're walking, and it doesn't matter whether you are like out in a forest or if you live in a city. She explains all these different things that you can do. You can draw animals, you can draw plants, you can draw insects. So I'm going to be bringing this with me while I'm going on walks around here in this beautiful place, and I'll show footage of the area and stuff. But I'm really excited to kind of get into this and try something new, and yeah, I hope that you'll be interested too. So I'm back home now, and it was a very nice vacation. I had a lot of fun. I got to do a lot of things outdoors. My parents took very good care of Bub while I was away. He did just fine. I missed him greatly, but I also needed a break from work and stuff to, kind of get a refresh. So I did a page of nature drawings for each day I was up there. Every day I tried to, like in the book, I tried to document what I saw, tried to label as much as I could. There were some things I saw that I didn't know the official name, but I did my best. I tried to document some of the weather, colors, and things that I really liked. So I will start the sketchbook tour. So this is day one. On the back deck of the cabin, looking down at the lakes. There were some ferns and lots of flowers and little bumbles. So that was the first thing I drew on the first day as I kind of got to know the area. There were a lot of dragonflies up north this year, which is why there weren't that many mosquitoes, which was great. And then we went on a walk, and I saw this really cute little bird, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I'll have to like do some more research, but he was gray on the top and yellow on the bottom. He had this cute little like raccoon mask across his eyes, and I followed him around for a while and I really liked him. There were some trees that had some berries growing on them, some mushrooms and stumps and things. I love drawing tree trunks and that kind of texture. Saw like, I don't know, just documented a feather. I don't know what kind it was, but... And then there were lots of daisies and wildflowers everywhere, and they were just beautiful, and there were bees all over them. There was a lot of flooding up in northern Minnesota this year because of the heavy snow and spring rains. And so there was this flooded street that we were on, and there was this little duck, and he was just going along his merry way, and he was very happy that the road was flooded. More dragonflies, and we also saw some little baby toads while we were out on a walk after dinner. So the next day, it was rainy all day. Like, I mean, I guess that's why it's called rainy, like, hey. So I just kind of drew things that were inside since it was thundering and we couldn't go out on the lake because, you know, lightning and, you know, it just wasn't a good idea for that day. I brought some watercolors with me. It is, let me go grab it. It is the, Watercolor Confections by Art Philosophy Vintage Pastel Collection. It comes in this little palette here, and I got that sticker on this trip. It was super cute when we went to Voyagers, but I'll get to that later in the sketchbook tour. It looks like this. It has, like, you know, it comes with a swatch card. Oh, I have my Q-tips in here for blotting up color and stuff. Yeah. And it has 2 mixing trays, and it's got a little holder so you can hold it while you're painting outside. I didn't bring it with me much because I didn't want to lose it, so I would draw things in pen and then bring my sketchbook back to the cabin and then color it in as I went along. But yeah, being inside, there were some flowers and vases and things that people had put out, so painted those. My morning coffee. Where was the strawberry? I don't think there was a strawberry plant. I think I ate a strawberry. This was the view from the cabin. So there were lots of beautiful pine trees in the rocks, just growing right into the side of some of these rock formations. And then all the islands up at Voyagers National Park. We did get to go out on the lake at the very end of the day because it stopped raining. So this is what we saw on that trip. So there were all these beautiful rock formations everywhere, and the trees would come up right up to the edge of the water, and then with the flooding, a lot of things were just what would normally be dry land was all covered, and you could see the line in the trees where the water had been sitting a while. It was slowly killing plants and stuff, but the water is receding. By the time we left, it receded quite a bit. And then the day after that, yeah, it was another rainy day. Yeah, rain started in the morning, rainy afternoon, so I just kind of spent that day playing with my paints, testing colors, watching the clouds go by, and painting that. A lot of beautiful colors. And then my morning coffee again. I mean, there's not much else to look at in the cabin. So the next day, it was a beautiful day. So I went outside right away in the morning, and I was painting some plants I saw. There was like some mossy stone bricks I found, and I drew those. The daisies again they're just beautiful in the sunlight, and all the little bumbles were out again. And I saw a lot of rusty-backed bumbles, which is, I'm pretty sure it's an endangered species in Minnesota. They have like an orange patch almost on their back. It was nice to see those because I don't see them in the Twin Cities much. We see like the big, fat, regular bumblebees. So the little rusty-backed ones we don't see much, but it was nice to see that there were plenty of bees up there where they were kind of untouched by pollution and pesticides, which was nice. We saw a bald eagle. We went paddle boarding, so we got to see loons and all kinds of beautiful things, and then there was a beautiful sunset that I painted that evening. And the next day, another nice day, we went out paddle boarding again. There were lots of dragonflies. The whole sky was like covered with them, and one landed on my raincoat, so I drew him before he flew away. My fiance and I were on a paddleboard, and we got super close to this eagle that was just sitting in a tree. We got maybe 10 or 20 feet from it, and it's just amazing to see them up close, because we see them around where we live, but you can't really get that close to them because they don't like people. We went to Little American Island, which was right across from where we stayed, and there was this old gold mine that was on it. A super tiny one. It was just a single mine shaft. It's abandoned, but the park people had all kinds of information on it there, and there was this cool giant gear of some kind that they had used to hoist the gold up, and they had just left it there. And there's some beautiful flowers on that island. Let's see, you saw a red squirrel, and there was lots of loons. Okay, and the next day, lots of color on these pages. I went paddleboarding again. This was my first time paddleboarding on this trip, and it's so much fun. It's much lighter than handling a canoe, because I thought canoeing was my favorite, but now I think paddleboarding is my favorite, just because it's just easier to get from place to place without having to carry a canoe. We saw some seagulls, and since the water was so high, we came up to this bridge, and I didn't want to go underneath it to get to the lake on the other side, because the water was so high. There was maybe 3 or 4 feet between the water line and the top of this bridge, and cars were going over it. But someone had spray painted my name on the side, so I thought it was a sign, so I went through it anyways. And then I saw a hooded merganser, and then we paddleboard to this resort called Shay Shay, and they have fed the wild chipmunks there for years. So the chipmunks are super friendly with people because they think you'll give them food. So we brought them walnuts, and I bought some peanuts while I was there, and they were so cute. They came right up to you and they took the peanuts out of your hand. That same day, we went over to Voyagers. We paddleboarded there too. We pretty much got everywhere up north by paddleboarding to get there because there's so much water. So we went to Voyagers National Park, bought that sticker. And the chipmunks at Voyagers they weren't as friendly as Shay Shay, but this one, he was super smart. So all the others kind of ran away, but he stayed. So we just ended up giving him all the nuts. So he would come, he'd eat one or stuff his cheeks full, and then he'd run back to his hole. And then in a few minutes he would come back, stuff his cheeks again, and then go back. So we probably gave him enough to get him through the entire winter. He's going to be a very fat chipmunk. And then the last day of our trip, the owners of the place that we stayed at, they have a cat that she goes outside named Charlie, and she came to say goodbye to everybody, and she was very sweet. And then on the way out, I saw this cool sign. It was made out of wood that somebody had just nailed to a tree, and it just said firewood. And I thought, I don't know, there was just something silly and interesting about it, so I drew that. And then on the ride home, I was admiring all the beautiful birch trees up there. So many gorgeous birch trees. They're one of my favorite trees because they have that kind of papery look to their bark with the stripes, and when the leaves shake in the breeze, it looks like they're sparkling because the underside kind of reflects white light, and they're beautiful. and we don't see them that much down south because it's more prairie down here. But, oh, it's just absolutely gorgeous. And at Voyagers, we learned exactly how important these trees were to the native peoples in building their homes and canoes and things to get around. And they're working to reintroduce a lot of the native plants that have been driven out from invasive species. So it was nice to see how they were restoring the landscape, and they will continue to do so. And when I got home, most of these were pencil sketches, and I just took my Winsor & Newton inks and colored things in to kind of reflect those stunning colors of nature while I was up there. Because I didn't think the colors I brought really worked with what I was seeing. I mean, it was nice for some things. Like I thought I liked how this sketch turned out. But for some of the brighter natural things, I wanted those stunning greens and blues and textures. And that is it. That was that's my mini sketchbook tour, kind of testing out nature journaling for the first time. I had a lot of fun on my vacation. I already wish I could go on another vacation. But yeah, I hope to do more nature journaling in the future. I'll probably set aside a separate sketchbook for that, just so that way everything's kind of organized in one place. I mean, I don't have much left of this sketchbook. I could keep going with this, but it might be nice to have something travel size that I can bring with me when I'm going out and about. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Oh, and Bub too. He sleeps when I record most of the time, so I will show some footage of Bub after this.